Again to the Leopard Reviews. I am Peter LeoPard. Today I'm not actually going to be reviewing a film. Instead I'm going to be answering Nerimon's YouTube survey at the behest of my very good friend Ian, aka the Musician. Yeah, I'm going to pronounce that way. Okay, so let's start off with the first question, which is, why am I called that? I suppose that's in reference to my name. Yeah, so my actual name, Peter, is obviously from my parents, who wanted to call me something that was quite traditional and common. They didn't want sort of any kind of mad names. I suppose because they're just really conservative and, didn't want to call me like Apple or Spandex or something. It also means rock in Greek, I believe. So there's that. And Leopard Reviews is pretty basic. It comes from my last name, which is LeoPard, so it's leopard without the O, and I just added the O back in to make it leopard, plus also, leopards are cool, so I thought I'd try and throw that in there. Right, yes, I think it has something to do with wildcats or something like that. But anyway, yes, my favourite teacher at school was Mr. Berry, who taught me art, which won't be surprising to most of you who know me, who know that I love art. And yeah, he taught me art at A level, and I really, really wanted to try and do animation for my my final project at A level, and a lot of my teachers were kind of quite reticent to let me try that because, student animations, especially if you've never done them before, don't tend to go out that well. But he encouraged me to try and see how it went, and to see whether I could actually do it, to build the sets and make all the puppets and do all the animation and all that stuff. And it came off, and I can only have him to thank for that. And he was a teacher, and he was a good guy generally. He was interested in a lot of the kind of things that I was interested in. He was a massive geek, he loved films. So yeah, he was a brilliant teacher. So thank you, Mr. Berry. Okay, the strangest food I've ever eaten. Let's see. I ate alligator years ago when I went to Florida. That was quite strange. It was sort of it's a bit like a gamey kind of chicken. It was quite tough. I suppose they're quite muscular animals, so it was quite a tough meat. I've had flying fish, which tastes like regular non-flying fish. I suppose it tastes quite a lot like cod. Actually, it's quite boring. I used to eat lots of things when I was young: woodlice, stinging nettles, mealworms. I'm sure they wouldn't really be classed as food traditionally, so I don't know whether I can really count those. But yeah, I've eaten a lot of weird things. Okay, my first gig. I'm really rubbish when it comes to music, as again, lots of people who know me will tell you. I suppose it would be probably something at uni, like maybe one of our summer balls or something. I remember seeing Feeder when I was at uni, and being really, really drunk, and it raining a lot. So yeah, it was probably something like that, which is really pathetic. I'm just a pathetic human being. Okay, let's move on. My favourite place in the world. Well, I suppose my favourite place in the world I've been so far, and I just watched my friend Tom of Easy Mo Bros answer to this survey, and he actually answered exactly the way that I thought he would, and the way that I'm going to answer, which is Venice. I mean, it's probably one of my favourite cities in the world. I mean, I love Italy in general. The architecture of Italy is so brilliant and varied, and it combines so many things, and just the landscape that it's all set in, and it's brilliant. I think Venice in particular, just because it's kind of so unlike any other city that I've ever been to, and it's fairly simple when you say it to someone. You just go, okay, just imagine a regular city, but instead of streets, there's canals, and people float to work. They don't drive. But it's so much more when you get there. You actually realise, wow, these are like really busy kind of like commercial lanes, and there's so much traffic on them all the time, and you know, it's so surreal and so, yeah, unlike anything I've ever seen. And everything's all kind of tumbling down and crumbling and rickety and sort of precarious, and it kind of feels like it has this timeless feel to it because it's all, I don't know, it's for anyone who likes anything artistic that is sort of, you know, decaying, and it's definitely for you. And it's one of those places you could just wander around and just get lost in completely. And I love cities like that. I love cities that sort of grow organically and have little back streets that you can sort of wander around. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on wistfully about Venice. Also, yes, again, what my friend Tom said about the Fighting Cocks. Yeah, I love that place. It's a brilliant little pub. Again, like he said, it does claim to be the oldest pub in the world. I believe it's just the oldest site that served alcoholic beverages or something like that. I know it claims that it is the oldest pub in the world, and there's somewhere in Manchester that claims the same as well, but it doesn't really matter to me because the charm of the place and, you know, going there and having a few drinks just with my mates is great, you know. I could do that all the time, except I'll be a raging alcoholic. Okay, so yes, who would I like to answer this survey next? Well, I was going to say Tom, but he's gone and said me, so now I'm stuck. Because I can't even think of anybody else on YouTube. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it really, really broad. Sorry, my lights went out then. I'm going to make it really, really broad and just say, if you're watching this video, just answer the survey. There we go. Now I've talked to everybody. Well, the 5 people who are going to watch this video. But if you haven't done it, if you aren't one of the people who's already done this survey, do it. Okay. So I hope that's proved fascinating for, I don't know, someone somewhere out there, presumably. I've just realised how late it is. It's just coming up to midnight, which is why I'm sat in my bed. So yes, have a good evening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative. And hopefully I'll actually have some movie reviews coming up at some point, rather than just me sitting in my bed talking to people. Okay, right. Good night.